Um, um, so I'm in the Agile Lean consultancy training coaching world. Before that, I was engineer. I was head of global OPEX, leading a transformation for 4,500 people globally. And since about, I would say 2 years, I'm all in towards self-employment. So started as a freelancer 2 years ago. Had a rough year. The first year is rough. I think you can tell.
Yeah.
Um, and then also like Jam kept popping up, right? So his ideas, what he did, and said, "Hey, Jam, we need to talk. I need to change something because I'm not getting any leads." Basically, that's what I would have asked. Now, ask a different question back then because I didn't know about leads and about all that stuff, right? And then we launched my podcast in March this year.
Okay.
Um, I think I've recorded close to 100 episodes with him now this year. 40, 45 are launched, are public now. So yeah, and it's been successful. I'm now after like 9 months getting my first clients to the podcast, big ones. Was a tough ride this
Yeah,
year.
yeah, yeah.
But I can now definitely say the podcast is paying off or starts to pay off. It has not been paid off completely, not yet. But now I see so many opportunities coming my way, like through the podcast, through the process, getting leads and being able to offer to big companies like SAP, Oracle, those types. And they keep working. So I closed my first big deal last week with SAP. So through the podcast, totally cold lead. So therefore it works. Apparently it works.
Yeah.
And he also said, "Hey, there's a guy in my network. You two should at least talk." He could help map you, or he could help map out your sales process, right? So,
Yeah, yeah.
and now we talk.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, cool, cool. Congrats on the deal. And I totally feel you with the podcast. I know people that have done really, really well. So it's good to hear that, that you're having success as well. So that's cool.
So I burned the first couple of months learning sales and learning discovery calls and that kind of thing. So I think I burned through 20, 30, 40, 50 leads because I simply didn't know what I was doing. I was
Yeah,
like
yeah.
stumbling along. But like after half a year of like learning, now it's more natural. It's way easier to get to the offer presentation in the end, right? So and it's working.
Yeah, cool, cool.
It's
I'm
crazy and it's working.
and you have enough lead flow to keep it going, or do you have to switch anything on the avatar side?
No, so I think we've been focusing on the right audience from the start. So this
Okay.
worked out. We might have been a little bit too low from the hierarchy level. So in the beginning, I did episodes with people that would not be able to decide in the end. So for
Yeah.
my purpose, those were the wrong leads or the wrong people
Yeah.
to talk to. Now I'm starting to sort them out. Therefore, there was no need to change the avatar in between. We ran into a cash flow issue in summer, so we had to stop the podcast for a few months, unfortunately. Um, but right now, I have enough lead flow coming in, so
Cool.
it's a stable business now with everything that's happening. The podcast also helped to get our brand Wertwandler known better, right? So there's also people coming not through the podcast, like from our network, seeing that we do podcasts, seeing that we do other stuff. Also, they come back now and say, "Hey, that's actually cool what you do." And now I need to limit my time more on how much actually podcast I can do a week, right? So
Mm.
I had crazy days in spring when I did, I think 18 calls a day, right? Like one after the other, podcast, disco, podcast. It was insane.
Yeah, yeah.
And now I'm limiting to max 4 uh, a day because then it's simply too much. Um,
Yeah.
but it's stable. It's a stable income.
Cool. Cool. Awesome. Awesome. I'm glad to hear. So here's what I was thinking. I'll show you. like a sales process map for one of my clients,
Yep.
so you can see like what where we want to get to.
Yep.
And then if it's okay with you, there's some information that I want to get so I can try to understand
Yep.
your
Then
product,
we
your
can
service,
start
your
filling it.
process, and then we fill it in.
Awesome.
Cool.
Let's do it.
All right.
Super
Let me
curious.
share the screen. Okay. So this is a, I think we'll end up around 14, 15 mil this year with these guys. They sell a physical product, but similar to call close process. And setting setters, they do discovery, they go to a closing call, and then they pitch. So this is like zoomed out.
Mhm.
Where we typically, where I typically like to start is here with sales process. So this is the overarching sales process here on the left. Can you see? I'm sure it's not
I can see
kind of.
the flow chart. I can't read the names, but I can see the flow chart. Okay.
Okay, yeah. So here on the left are all the different lead sources. So this is going to be like the start of the process. This is how a stranger finds out about us. And then we map out the setting call. And then each call has a call script and a call structure. So setter call, if we go over here, this is setter call flow, intro, discovery, qualification, transition,
Mhm.
offer. So this is call structure. This would be closing call structure. So kind of each piece of these has its own flow chart if you zoom into it.
Mhm.
So setting calls, this would be like discovery call. For these guys, they're doing an appointment or a tour. And then, either they're making an offer, they're quoting their next steps, and then deposit, and then close. And so there's little processes, follow-up process, pipeline processes in each one of these steps. So that, and the idea is like for you as the founder to have your process mapped out so that we can see where the inefficiencies are, where the
Mhm.
gaps are, but then also in the future, so you don't have to be the one doing the process all the time. So you have,
Then I
a
can cross
structure
train
that you
others.
can,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So, and then depending on, the different stages in the funnels, obviously there's different follow-ups and different automations that you can have for each step of the process to help. And then a funnel map depending on, if you have any funnels outside of the podcast. So that's kind of what this is actually, I would say a finished product, which is constantly evolving. So I call it it's a working product.
Mhm.
Um, does that feel useful? Does that feel like it would help you in your process?
Um, yeah, especially, I mean, you mentioned two things. First one is, right now I'm the bottleneck in our company. So we are 9 people in total. So I'm not alone anymore. I'm partner of those guys. We are 9 people, and I'm the one doing the heavy lifting on the podcast and on the lead inflow. And I'm trying to get other people from the company hooked up because I cannot be the bottleneck in this. So I think this is one thing, to have some like of an SOP standards process where then I can also start adding like a script for each call and so on. So it's easier for everyone. That's number one. 1A, 1B would be maybe in the future we might have a setter, we might have a closer, we might invest into people that help us do that work because we are coaches and consultants. We are not sales people, right?
Yeah.
And the second part would be like seeing inefficiencies, because you're the eye. Like when you see this process where you say, "Hey, that's inefficient. That's not working." Me coming from lean, I see it in the product world, but I think I have a hard time seeing it in the sales process because I don't have the experience on how a good process would be like. I think these are two things that I can really take out of it.
Cool. Awesome. Okay. So, if it's okay, Marcus, I'm just going to ask you all
Yeah.
like rapid fire a few questions so I can get an understanding. And then any questions that you have along the way, I'm sure it'll start to bring up some things. And so then typically what I like to do is like, we'll do this deep dives and then I will ask for a call, like a couple call recordings so that we or transcripts so that we can pull the transcripts and we can start to see what the process is
Mhm.
in our heads, but what it actually is on paper. And then we take everything and then we'll build it together and we'll probably jump on one more call and we'll review the final product and just make any tweaks and do like a handout.
Mhm.
Is that cool?
Yeah, cool.
Cool. Okay. So, product, you said you guys do lean, agile coaching and consulting, right?
Yeah. So
Okay.
we have, um, I would say it's two main products. There's one is around training. So we offer different training in the agile space. Um, the training market is not so big anymore, so those don't sell so much. So the other big thing is that we sell consultancy and coaching, right? So we are on site, we help teams, we help companies get better. So these are training, enablement, and then empowerment through coaching and training. So these are the two main things that we sell.
Got it. Okay. What are the price points or like term structure on the offer?
So let's say training 1 to 2 days is between 5 and 10 grands. Um, this would be like the entry ticket. We don't have like a low ticket offer. And then when we go for transformation, so then normally we stay for a longer time. So that's 50, 100K plus.
For the coaching consulting?
This coaching consulting. So we are aiming for long term companies or companies that want to work with us long term.
Okay, cool. And are you doing annual contracts or 6-month contracts or
Well, this is I think Europe works differently. So then maybe yes. So here it's we offer like a contingent of days. Let's say I would offer you 30 days, and then you have like a year time to like pull them from us.
uh,
And sometimes companies don't like pull all the days. Most times they do. So we basically give them a budget of 30 days, and then once we do a day, we send them an invoice. So we are invoiced by
uh,
day, like
okay,
once a month. So there's no monthly retainer. It's pay by use.
pay by use. Okay, got it, got it. Okay. Um,
And daily rates we range, let's say roughly 2,500. So these are daily rates that we go for typically, just as like plus minus 10%.
got it. Okay, okay, cool. In Marcus, where are you located at? In Are these
I'm
in person?
I'm located at the border between Switzerland and Germany.
Uh,
I'm sitting on the border. So I'm catering to Germany, to Switzerland, sometimes to Austria. So the German speaking region is my main region. Um,
Got it. Okay, so I'm assuming the trainings, everything. Like I noticed your podcast, everything is in German. So, um,
I'm I'm open to also work in English speaking countries. But yeah, then there's always travel constraints and so on, time zone differences. So
okay,
main is German speaking.
okay, cool. And it sounds like you're physically going in person to deliver the trainings, or is it virtual online?
2/3 are physical. So
2/3.
there's also, let's say, maybe 30% is can be online. But yeah, 2/3 are physical on site, both for the
Oh,
training and the consultancy.
okay, cool, cool. Yes, you actually get to work with people.
We actually work with people.
Yeah, yeah, not screens. Okay, cool. And who would you say is the ideal, like what's the ICP, the ideal client profile? What types of businesses?
So from industry, IT, pharma, medtech, these are the three main industries. Um, and then it's somewhere between, let's say, 50 million to 500 million revenue. If they get too small, they don't have the budget to work with us. If they get too big, they have too many constraints by frame contracts and so on. So it's not fun to work with them anymore. So there's a sweet spot, maybe around 200 mil annual volume for the client.
Got it. Okay. And okay, cool. And then walk me through this sales process from stranger all the way to paying a client.
So, so let's focus on podcast, because there's the other side is through our like warm network. So people we know, people we often talk to, but this is like, there's not a standard process behind, right? So people call and then we offer and then it works or doesn't work. So podcast works in a way that we do, one thing is email cold outreach.
Yep.
The other one is LinkedIn cold outreach. We are this connecting to the profile, and once it's been connected, we send a text message, a voice message. And then on both LinkedIn and email, there's like a ping pong of a couple of mails bouncing back and forth. I can't tell you how many, because that's something that JM's team does. So
Yeah.
there's kind of a setter.
Are you sending the voicemails still, or are they pre-recorded?
The voicemail is pre-recorded, and
Okay.
it's sent by the setter,
Yeah. Got it.
who is in JM's team. And I see that there's like emails going back and forth 2, 3, 4 times to set on a date. What we do most times, the first call is then a 15-minute get to know each other call. Yeah? That's done by me. So that's when I jump in. In these 15 minutes, we define, like, first we see if it's a fit for a podcast or not. We define the topic, and then we set the date for the podcast.
Got it. Okay.
Couple weeks later. Then next date is a podcast date, half an hour, also done by me. Podcast recording, Riverside.
Yep.
Yeah, standard. At the end, I do the transfer to the discovery call, saying my famous sentence that you also know.
Yep.
I always have to smile because it works so well.
Yeah.
So after that, after the podcast, I can convert, I would say, almost 90% to a discovery call out of the podcast, which is another half an hour call that I also take. So that's like really straightforward.
Sorry, Marcus. So are you, for almost every podcast guest, are you doing the 15-minute fit check podcast and then the discovery? Is that almost always the process?
I would say right now it's about 50% is 15 minutes call before.
50.
I have the gut feeling, but I don't have the data, that it helps me sort out better if I have these 15 minutes call up front, right? So I was asking the team to rather go for a 15-minute call, or really make sure that the guest really wants to do the recording at the date. Because at the beginning, I had a lot of recording dates where the guest said, let's first talk. Yeah. And that wasted too much time for me.
Yeah. So then you were like rushing to finish the podcast. And
this didn't work. So right now I would say 50-50. 50% is going directly to the podcast. 50% is going through the 15 minutes call.
Okay. So then 30-minute discovery.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And then what happens after the 30-minute discovery?
And then the standard would be another 30 minutes call to present a concept. That's how I frame it. But in the end, I'm pitching my offer. So that's like the pitch. Sometimes there's an intermediate step before that, depending on, we uncovered too many topics in the discovery call, or there was something else popping up, right? Then I'm sometimes, let's say 20% of the time, I don't have enough time in this half-hour discovery call to really uncover everything. So then we like add another one. Then it's the pitch. I'm not pushing for a close because I'm asking for 40, 50, 60 grand. So no one can do that like at that moment, right? After the pitch, I'm sending my pitch deck to them. It's a standard PowerPoint or PDF deck. I'm also sending some additional information like a case study or some other links with it. And then after the pitch, it's either a follow-up like meeting we set, like, hey, when's the moment when you can decide that? Let's have a chat in 3 weeks. Or it's a phone call, or it's an email. I haven't fully figured out that part yet. So I would say I've mastered like a lot of steps up front. And I'm really trying now different ways of like really getting this like last step optimized, because I'm feeling I'm losing time. I'm losing leads. I'm certainly also losing some of the contracts because I'm not, I don't know, maybe not diligent enough or not like aggressive enough. I don't know. But this would be the process. So pitch, and then there's a, yeah, most often there were like multiple follow-up calls afterwards, because in Switzerland and Germany and Austria, you need to ask for budget. You need to have another round through financial, through controlling. So there's a lot of work then happening inside the company I work with. And that's a lot of follow-up. So, hey, do you need anything else from me? What's your status? So this is not so streamlined.
Got it. Okay. And then once it closes, I'm assuming, are you sending an invoice? Like, how does the payment happen? Or do they schedule the first uh, training
So yeah,
date?
so they would then confirm the offer. Um, um, and then we would set the date, we would deliver, and then payment would be after delivery. That's coaching standard, at least here in Europe.
Okay.
I'm trying to change that as well to prepayment. Tough discussions I'm having there.
Yeah. Okay.
Typically, it's delivery, and then after delivery, we are sending the invoice, and it's then been paid, and then it's over.
Got it. Okay. But once they schedule the first one, that they're technically committing to 30 training dates, correct? In the year.
They are committing then to whatever it is. Could be 15 days, coaching, training, whatever. They would commit to 30 days, whatever. But we have no way of enforcing them that they actually really take these 30 days. So sometimes they only take 20 of 30, right? So this can also happen.
And so then you would only get paid on 20, not the
I would only get paid on 20, exactly.
Got it. Okay. Okay. And you said that there's no like contractual agreement to commit to 20 days, 30 days, 10 days. It's just more so like training by training in a verbal agreement. Like, hey, I think we can do 20 days this year. Is that?
I mean, right now I'm trying to change this with the contracts I'm making now. So I'm saying, hey, you order 15 days. It's an order about 15 days. You can pull within half a year, right? So it's not that you cannot take it. So that's what I'm starting to do now.
Got it.
This is not what other coaches do. So the companies are not used to that behavior, right? So they say, hey, but I'm getting a different thing from other companies. So
Right. So it's a little what's normal or traditional in that space. Okay. Okay, cool. And My
But
name
on
is
the other
Bo.
hand side, I can offer them, so I can guarantee them the days. Like I can pre-book the days for them, and that's what I cannot guarantee them if they just decide if they take it or not, right? So that's at least the way that I can try to get them to agree to say, okay, we are committing to 15 days in 6 months.
Yeah, got it. Okay. Um, and then are you tracking discovery calls? Like, do you have a CRM? Do you have a pipeline? Like, how are you kind of visually seeing where all your deals are?
So I have a pipeline in close.
Close.
Um,
Okay.
um, I'm I'm not tracking like the early stages of like podcast fit check and podcast booked and so on, discovery. I'm tracking after discovery for myself to see is it, do I need to follow up? Do I need to nurture? What do I need to do? But I'm not tracking before discovery because
Okay.
um,
That's, yeah,
I'm
there's
not
a
doing
lot.
it. Full stop.
Yeah, yeah, no, no worries. No worries. Just trying to get, and then do you have scripts? Like, do you kind of have a script or a flow that you're using for your discovery call, for the concept call, or is it all in your head?
So for the concept or sales call, it's kind of scripted because I have this standard template that I walk through, and this goes through then what have I understood of the problem, what are the steps, how we would solve it, the offer, who are we. So that's always the same process. For the discovery, it's not scripted. I started to script it, but I veered off so often. So um, I told myself it didn't work.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah,
that's wrong. Um, I'm trying to follow like closer, the first steps of the closer approach. So finding the pain, linking to the pain, getting any objections out of the way. So I'm trying to follow that. Um,
the Hermosi, is that the Hermosi closer?
I don't know
Acronym?
mostly. So there was a concept that JM called me. Closer is an acronym,
Yeah, yeah. For the stages of the call. Yeah,
for
yeah,
these
I know.
stages, right?
Yeah.
Um, and but I haven't scripted it. And I'm a trained coach, right? So at those moments, I'm setting on my coaching hat and I'm trying to dig for the problem. So that's why I haven't scripted it. It doesn't make it easy then for others to take over because they don't have that thing, right? What I also struggled with is that um, there's not this one single product that we offer, right? So this could go into agile, lean leadership. So there are so many different topics. Um, and I haven't found a way to script that so that it's like flexible enough to like switch between topics throughout the discovery call. Right? So that
Mhm.
was where I got stuck. So we have so many different things that we potentially could offer. And I kept it open for me in the discovery call. That's clearly a point that I need to somehow tackle, right? If I want to
Yeah,
train others.
yeah. I so with marketing agencies, this is a common issue. How are you doing on time? Are you okay on time?
I would.
Yeah.
I have
Okay.
a stop at 4, but I'm good on time.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I think I have one more thing I want to get here, and then I think I have enough information to at least start to build the
Start
process.
tracing it together. Cool. Awesome.
Yeah. Um, but this is a challenge I had because we would sell coaching agency services to 8 different avatars. And in the agency services, there were like 3 different products. On the coaching side, there were 3 different products. So you go 8 times 3 times 3 is like
Too many.
75.
Mhm.
And so when we were bringing in a new closer on the call, their head was going and they would just get lost. Um, so a couple things that we did is we tried to start to decipher from the beginning, um, in a qualification. where potentially this person should fall in what bucket. Um, and then typically what it was is like one or two questions at the beginning of the call that would be like, all right, 80% of this doesn't work. Here's like the two potentials, and then discovery questions to narrow down. And in the transition, so like discovery transition, the rep or the closer would have to make a decision. Is it here or is it here? And they would have to justify why. And so that's where the coaching hat would come in, where it's like, hey, based on everything you told me, this is my understanding of the problem challenge. Here's what I think.
Yes, what I think we could do. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, yeah. So it may be something like that where we just need to have a decision tree that's happening early on or earlier. And then once you can document the decision tree, then you can have a process. And I mean, you don't understand processes, right? Then it's a little bit easier to teach somebody.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
You haven't thought through it through the lens of like really getting a setter and a closer, which is not me, right? So this is a concept that I haven't thought of. But hitting my time limits, that's could be a point where I actually need to do that, right? So
Yeah. Yeah. Uh, okay, cool.
mm,
Let me just make sure I got all the questions here. Is there anything else that we haven't chatted about? I think I've got everything that I've got everything that I need from initial conceptual perspective. Is there anything else that you feel like would be important or any questions that you have for me?
I think we now covered like the 80% of the like podcasts that go that way. There are some strange things happening as well, right? Like getting other people in, and I don't know what else. I think we don't have to cover those. Um, yeah, that's how far the process goes. We haven't touched on what happens if it goes from like a opera presentation to a nurturing, right? So that's like another thing that we have talked about, and there's also not much yet from our side. That's all in my head right now. So that's the thing we also need to get much better at, to get those back as well. Um, yeah, no, I think that's
Yeah. Okay.
that's
So
about my
there's
idea.
cool. Um, so the way I look at nurture, there's two buckets. There's I made an offer to them. This is a sales prospect. And like, if they didn't buy, how do I nurture them to buy? And then I see the other opportunity for nurturing, which is they came on the podcast, but we didn't really move through a sales cycle, but these are still, good connections, good people that I want to potentially work with or, continue. So I see two buckets of nurturing. Is that how you're conceptually thinking about it?
Yeah, exactly. I think this is a point. So the ones I offer to, I mean, they do behave differently than the ones that didn't go through the cycle, right? Um, a- and I haven't figured it out, like what I could actually do, right? Apart from like trying to stay in the face, trying to give them yeah, some value through any content that I'm generating. But yeah, it's totally unstructured. So I have a
Yeah.
physical board with like my top names, and I'm like trying to keep on top of those. Yeah, but there's just the top, I don't know, 5 or 10 people.
That you're focused on. Yeah. Okay, cool. Cool. I think that gives me pretty much everything that I need. So let's do this. If you want, Marcus, we can find another time and we can kind of reconnect and um I'll map out I'll basically walk you through kind of the flow chart in the sales process.
Mhm.
So I would say maybe if you could get two or three of your best discovery calls, um, two or three. Actually, to make this like, if you want to make like a process that you're going to hand off in the future, I would say fit check, two or three fit check calls, transcripts, two or three discovery calls. Podcasts we don't really need because I think you will continue running the podcast at least for the near future, right?
Just for the near future.
Okay, so fit check, discovery, and then concept calls. So your pitch. So I would say if you can do like 1 to 3 of your best ones for each of those stages, that will at least give me an idea of some call structure that you have so that we can start to document it.
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay.
I would have to sort through them. I think I sent some to Jam already, especially for the discos.
Okay.
I have to see what I have on concept calls. So I do have enough pitch checks and I do have enough discos. I have to check if I have enough pitches recorded on the transcript.
One is fine. One, like
I
if you just have one like that you feel like had a solid
this
structure
went
to
well,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And no judgment. Like, I just,
yeah.
want to
It,
understand. I know
it's
some
feedback,
people
right?
can
It's
get,
feedback. I can also send you the pitch deck because I'm going through that like really page by page.
yeah, that would be helpful.
Good. You get those.
And then does this time work well for you?
Yeah, this is late afternoon. This time around works well.
Okay. Do you want to reconnect same time next week?
Same time next week. I'm at a client, so this
Okay.
does not work.
I could do the 11th, Thursday, or the 17th.
You're still sticking with the same time, right? 3, 11. On the 11th, it would work. Same
Okay.
time, December 11th. Yeah, this would work.
Okay. All right. I'll duplicate this invite. And then if we need to adjust, like, no worries, let me know
Sure.
and we can adjust. But at least we got something on the calendar, so we'll keep you moving forward.
Nice.
All right. I just sent that out, Marcus.
Nicely done. Getting the dates. So this was
Yeah,
like
yeah.
super smooth process. Also, I'm seeing this through this meta lens on like how you did it. It was super smooth. Learning from the best. I see that.
Bam fan. Book a
Yeah,
meeting
yeah.
from a meeting. Yeah.
I'm doing this as well, but the way you like went through these questions was like really good. Same time work, and so yeah, I liked it. Thanks.
Cool. Yeah,
More
it's
information.
so it's actually it's basically there's a couple things different than I would have done if it was a sales call.
Mhm.
But we got all of the same information that we would need, in a very consultative, friendly, like, hey, didn't feel approach. So that's at least how I like to do it. So cool. All right, Marcus.
Awesome. So I'm getting you those transcripts and the deck, and then we talk to each other next week. Huh?
Yeah. Are you on Slack?
Yep.
Okay. This email.
Yep.
Okay. If it's easier for you, I'll send for communication. I can create a Slack channel and we can communicate that way. Or if you prefer email.
You can also do Slack. So I don't have too many Slack channels, so this Slack would also work.
Okay. Yeah, I'm on Slack a little bit more than email just because like everything lives there. So I will send an invite on Slack and then we can communicate that way and
Nice.
go from there. Cool.
Cool. Then, hey,
All
thanks
right.
again for the time.
Yeah, of course. Of
It was
course.
fun.
Fun, excited, and great to meet you. And I'll see you next week.
See you next week. Ciao, Chris.
Cheers.